And joining us for a further look on what's playing itself out in that market scene is Odwa Magwentshu from Trive Investments. Odwa, thank you for being with us today and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All right, it looks like it's a bit of a mixed day. We've seen green screens, I think, all around over the last few days. But today, a market's contending with, I think, a little bit more than usual. Talk to us about what's driving this performance today.
Well, it comes today in the markets locally. We are obviously anticipating what's going to happen at 3 o'clock with South African Reserve Bank announcing whether or not they're going to keep repo rates unchanged. However, also, in terms of commodities, we have had some drivers on that front. We have seen the oil price gain, and that's of course on the back of what's happening in the Red Sea. We have also seen gold prices relatively strong in the past few weeks, is still above 2,000, so that's also helping the likes of Goldfields right now. In terms of retail, we are seeing, the trade update that came out today for Mr. Price, showing that there is some positivity in that sector with regards to, what happened over the Christmas period and also Black Friday. So I think overall, it's been a good day for the JSE and also US markets. I think that's what's driving at the moment.
Let's talk on Mr. Price. I think certainly a great period to be a discount retailer with the South African consumer so cash-strapped. But also, what really boosts Mr. Price, Odwa, is their trail of really good acquisitions.
Yes, so when it comes to Mr. Price, they have had a good addition to the business. We are also seeing the likes of the home side of the business also having some not great growth, but they have had relative growth on that front. I think especially as a discount retailer right now, diversification is a great place you want to see yourself in, as apparel may not be the core front in terms of what the consumers are looking to purchase. That's why a nice diversification will work in your favor in that front.
Before we move away from here, the telecom segment grew 9%. It's a very interesting part because, when I think of Mr. Price, I don't think of telcos, but obviously their consumers do, and this segment seems to be growing.
Yes, I think the nice thing is also to emphasize the discount part of Mr. Price is that on their telecoms, they also tend to sell the lower end phones instead of the high end ones, which are in the 5 digits. So I think that is what's helping that side of the business grow as well. And I think it could be something we might want to look at going forward.
Before we move on from them, one thing they've done right here is they've managed to get some backup power in the stores. Not all retailers have done this, and I'm not sure if that's because landlords don't allow it everywhere. But this is something that's very simple, but seems to have made a huge difference for Mr. Price.
Yes, 100%. I mean, if you look at last year's theme, especially across the retail sector, it has been the amount of money that these different companies have been spending just to keep the lights on. And this year, we are seeing that, we are still going to go down that route of having load shedding coming about. So 100%, I do agree with you in the sense that their investment in keeping the lights on has actually helped, generate more more income to the business and also foot traffic as well. So, kudos to them in that front.
Let's talk Sasol now. The share price is up just over 3%. And when I read the update, Odwa, it isn't necessarily glaringly positive. We are seeing external sales volumes up 4%. But really, still a Sasol that I would say is yet to undergo a transition. And that transition is a bit scary if you're an investor, I think, depending on how close you are to the business. But investors seem to be okay with what they've read today from the production and sales volume update.
With Sasol, as you rightfully said, it's the numbers that came out, there wasn't much change. I mean, single-digit growth or decline across the board. So it was relatively mute. Syllable production down by 1%. And with that being said, I think that the business is going through a tough transition right now. What is worth noting as well is that, you know, the share price has had a very big knock over the past, let's say, 3 months. So to stay mute is not really much of a win. But it's showing that the business is not really taking much of a knock as well. And I think what's also, you know, potentially help them in the short term is, you know, if oil prices go on the upside, that could help them in the short term. However, we have also seen that the oil prices hasn't gone up as much as they did last year around the June level, where the Brent crude oil was around $90 or $100 a barrel. So oil prices not moving too much, production not too high, so the business is mute. But I think maybe investors were expecting much worse, and that's why right now we're seeing a good growth in the share price.
Fantastic. It's all we have time for today, Odwa. Before we move along, let's talk about your stock pick today.
My stock pick for today is Grindrod. I think they're well positioned, and they've just had a large amount of good news coming in. They have a relatively low or cheap right now with an 8.8 PE ratio. They've just won a contract in Mozambique to increase the port size there. We are seeing from the Red Sea that companies such as Maersk and BP are going to reroute their cargo to come through South Africa, which means more volume for the business. So opportunity-wise, I think that they are well positioned. And if you look at technicals, they just went above 12 rands a share. So everything seems to be pointing positively for the business.
Fantastic, Odwa. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. That was Odwa Magwentshu. He's from Trive Investments.